Alima, it's a pleasure to speak to you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mario, for
I know
having me live.
it's very difficult times for you. The last time I spoke to anyone from Imran Khan's family was his sons, Sulaiman and Qasim Khan, a few months ago. And as heartbreaking as it is, it seems things are just getting worse. And now your brother is in jail, former Prime Minister Imran Khan. And yesterday, one of your sons was kidnapped, and today, another one was again kidnapped. Someone I know personally, Shersha Khan, who's a very nice man, a very nice boy. And we've messaged back and forth a lot over the last year. Such a nice person. And I was just shocked to see today that he was the one arrested. So my heart goes out to you as a mother, Alima.
Thank you, Mario.
My first question to you is just for the world, what happened in the last 24 to 48 hours?
Actually, it's a little disorientating to understand why they picked up my elder son, who is who's obviously very preoccupied with his own business, and he's also very committed to his triathlons that he runs around the world. And he was planning to leave for Estonia for a international triathlon. And him and his wife were going to travel. And first they stopped them. They said, "You're on a exit control list," and they kept him at the airport for a few hours. He didn't tell anybody in the family. And then they um, they came at 7:30. A lot of gunmen. I mean, they were plain clothes gunmen. They sort of beat up some of our staff, and they picked up the drivers. They beat him up. Then they sort of just went right up. They knew exactly where to go, and my son was sitting with his 1.5-year-old daughter and his 6-year-old daughter, both of his daughters, around 7:30 in the evening, and his wife was there, and they just grabbed him. I mean, they were gunpoints. They took away my daughter-in-law's phone first. They basically they always, whenever they are coming for you, they take away your telephones and your laptops and whatever. So that's what they did. And it was exactly 3 or 4, maybe 3-4 minutes. And then they basically, I don't think they क्या किया चला गया क्या किया क्या चार्जिंग पे ये क्या किया ये क्या किया बेटा
Just for the audience, there's a bit of crisis right now in your home. There's a lot of chaos because
yeah
everything's just happened a few hours ago. So I know it's a very difficult time for you now. It's
yeah
okay if you're
because
interrupted.
there's a lot of people all our rooms are full. There's a lot of people here. It's a bit chaotic,
No problem.
but I don't think, and they took away the CCTV screen that's, I think, in our kitchen. They normally take that away. They took away some of the CCTV cameras, but there was one camera that was outside the kitchen where they entered from. And there's clear footage of these men coming in with guns. There were lots of men. And that is what some of these youngsters put on the social media. That's when the police acknowledged that they've abducted him. Then a statement came in the press from the police that he has been, he's going to be produced in court. So he was produced in the anti-terrorism court today. And suddenly he's been charged for 9th May, which is in 2023. And there's charges on him. You have to understand. And my younger son, Shersha, we'd gone to court for his hearing, and the police took him away on a remand for 8 days. And when we were returning home, right outside our home, the cars came, they surrounded my husband's car. My other daughter-in-law and husband were in that car with him. They just surrounded the car, they pulled him out of the car, and they took him also. So both my sons right now are in police custody. And I have arrest warrants on myself as well. And my charges, nominated in, I don't know, 70 or 80 cases. One of them is a murder charge. And my crime, uh, written in the police report, is that I gave Imran Khan's message to the press. That is the charge on me. And that, you see, the whole thing is, everything is revolving around Imran Khan. Imran Khan has been in jail for more than, it's over 2 years now. And the whole, the problem that whatever the establishment has with Imran Khan is that he's the voice of the people. He 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 his party with no symbols, no party, absolutely no campaign, no flag, no identification. Imran Khan swept the elections on 8th February 2024. That's unheard of. Actually, anywhere in the world, since the process of electoral politics started maybe over a century ago, it is unheard of what happened in Pakistan on the 8th of February in 2024. That, I think, was a big shock. They spent the whole next day rigging that election because he had won more than two-thirds, in spite of all these efforts that they put in pre-poll rigging. He had swept the elections, and they spent the next day making him, basically stealing the whole election. And they're still in the process of disqualifying one at a time, maybe 5 people, 10 people. Even now, they disqualified 10 of his members from the assembly, again on charges of 9th May. 9th May, everybody in Pakistan knows, was a false flag operation. They structured it by claiming nobody died, by the way. It's a few buildings that they reportedly were set on fire. There's no death on their part. On the other hand, protesters on the streets were sniper rifles fired at them on the 9th of May, and many people, at least over a dozen people, were shot dead. And these are peaceful protesters at that time on the road. So the point is that it all started with Imran Khan, and Imran Khan is still the issue. But we plan to stand with him, and that's the whole issue. That, like, they don't know how they. You see, when they before they arrested him, they offered him that we are giving you a chance, leave the country. He said, "Why would I leave my country? Like, what's my crime that I have to leave the country?" He stayed. Then they thought he won't be able to sustain himself in that prison. He's got a tiny little cell. And he's a man with a very strong will and a lot of faith. He's got a strong faith in Allah. And he has sustained, gradually, they have taken away every facility he has. He's in complete solitary confinement. And that is being done to break that man who is a voice for the people. So it's not Imran Khan they're after the voice of the people. And it's basically, that's, you see, in olden times you would have dictatorships. There was no communication, so a dictator could come, take over, use armed men, tyranny, suppression, silence the voices, control the state television, and he could and control the two news or three newspapers. And dictators could sort of last for many years. Right now, I think the change in the world is your social media. In fact, you people are the change. Your generation is the change. The younger generation is the change. You have these mediums in which you can communicate with people. And this has caused a huge change, generational change. So now, when they're trying to use the same tactics that were used 50, 60 years ago, it's just not working. Younger generation have too much access to information, and this information is the problem right now. And it is, old tactics are not fitting into the new system. Right now, they cannot understand that they are using tyranny, they are firing at people. Why are they not giving up? Because the new generation in Pakistan, and we've got about 60%, which are very young people. That's about 110 million young people. and they are on that phone, and they are independent in their thought, in their thinking, and they have access to information. They refuse to accept this sort of tyranny. So this is, I would not say that this is coming to an end. I would say this is the beginning of this. We are going through a process of change, and we have no idea where this goes from in the next steps. But this tyranny that they're using, and we, being Imran Khan's family, we, if our brother can sit in jail for 2 years, and what he has put up with, he's has no access to family visits, which is his legal right. He has no access at all. When you're in a prison, books are a very important part, and he's a reader. He can consume 2 books in a day. One of the biggest challenges we have faced is getting him books, and he reads history, and he reads a lot of history. And what they've blocked for him is his books. There's what else? There's no television that he should have been allowed. There is no newspaper. So they've basically cut off all his communication with the outside world. So he's and access to people. My last time, I haven't met him in 3 or 4 months. So they thought if they block me, they can block his voice, where I have to give his message to the people. Then they allowed 2 of my sisters, and then they cut that down too, because my sisters would bring out the message, and then we will give it out to the press. Then they reduced it to 1 sister, and since past 2.5 weeks, that weekly visit is completely cancelled. So there was only one lawyer allowed to visit him on Tuesday, and he brought out a shorter message, but my brother manages to bring out a message for his people. And all he said is that if I can sit here in this cell for 2 years and I can say strong, I want my people to remain strong, and we will stand up and fight against tyranny. That was his message, and I gave it to the press.
The message from a few days ago, from 19th of August, 3 days ago. My message to my entire nation, my workers and party leadership, is that your captain is still standing tall,
Yeah.
with his chest held high, and you must not panic. This is fascism. But despite all this, you must not lose courage under any circumstances. I myself am fighting the battle for the true freedom of my nation while imprisoned in this jail cell. My question to you, Alima, is your 2 sons are now arrested. The son of your brother was arrested and he's facing 10 years in jail, and you have an arrest warrant against you as well. What's going on through your mind? How does it feel to just be targeted by this big establishment?
My sister's son, Hassan, he has been in a military jail.
Sister
You have to
Hassan
understand. He
Khan
was in a
Niyazi, yes.
Hassan Khan, my sister's son. He's been convicted for 10 years by a military court. No trial, no evidence. You have to understand, these convictions are without absolutely any justification. Where's the process? One of the biggest things that my brother's been saying that was collapsing, but they did an amendment which is called the 26th Amendment in October last year. In 2024 October, they passed an amendment which basically converted the whole judiciary into a government department, as my brother would say. They actually took away the independence of the judiciary. And everybody knows, anywhere in the world, that whoever's watching, that justice is the basic requirement of every citizen in a country. But once the people lose faith in their judiciary completely, earlier on, we were getting some justice. We understood that maybe some judges but some judges are excellent in our courts. But to actually publicly, blatantly, in fact, in your face, say that these judges, we'll tell them, we'll dictate to them. So the judges are sitting there giving out 10 years, handing out 10-year sentences with absolutely no evidence. It's a mockery of the justice system right now. So without a justice system, when this government says, well, Imran Khan is facing his cases in court. Imran Khan was charged for conspiracy of 9th May. The High Court, our lawyers went in, and we are lay persons. We really don't have to understand. We are not legal people, but the court was full, and we all saw how well our Imran Khan's lawyer Salman Safdar was handling the case, and he basically annihilated the case. The prosecutor, I felt sorry for him because he was making. It was an embarrassment even for a judge to listen to what his arguments were. And Imran Khan should have gotten a bail at that time. That court, under orders, dismissed that bail. So as a result, uh, our lawyers went to the Supreme Court. And yesterday in the morning, uh, not as how we would have expected, we really didn't think even this. Now, the Supreme Court was so embarrassed with the merits of that case that the Chief Justice, before he started hearing the bail application, said to both the lawyers, the prosecutor and to our lawyer, I will not hear this case on merit. So everybody said that, what about merit? But he couldn't, because if he had heard the case on merit, the High Court judiciary would have been a joke in the Supreme Court. So he said, I will hear it on technical grounds. And yesterday, the Supreme Court granted Imran Khan bail in 8 cases. Now there's only one case left in a High Court. We have been standing outside that High Court. Imran Khan's elected members, 180 of them, have come to the High Court, stood outside for hours, where that judge would give a date and a time. And when we went for that case, along with all his elected members, the judge would uh, walk out of his commitment. So there's one case in which Imran Khan is convicted for 14 years. Judge for 4 months, uh, for 2 months, he would give a date and walk out on, uh, find some excuse. Once the prosecutor didn't come, the next time, I don't know, the judge was not feeling well. So with all these excuses, they dragged it for 4 months. And now that judge, the Chief Justice of the Islamabad High Court, won't even give us a date. But after we got the bail yesterday, he said, well, when I came out of court, I said, now that we've got this bail, our next focus is to now go to Islamabad High Court. Maybe that was the reason I said all our focus shifts to the High Court.
That's on the Al Qadir Trust allegations, correct?
Yeah, the university case.
I'm trying to understand why now? Why did they arrest your kids now after these 2 years? Are they starting to feel a bit more threatened? Have you received any? Have they reached out to you trying to reach some sort of agreement? What's happening behind the scenes that led to this sudden arrest of your kids and after your sister's son was convicted of a charge for 10 years?
We have actually been discussing this since yesterday. You've asked a very pertinent question, a question that we ourselves are asking. What happened that they needed to pick up? Because I didn't think it was a smart thing to do, like in a PR terms. Like, why would you pick up one son one day and pick up the other one? Was it to scare us? So I went out to the press. I said, if my mind thought that are they trying to say, don't talk about Imran Khan's message anymore, or I don't know. So I went out and repeated the message so that people shouldn't feel that even if they arrest two of our sons, you have to understand, why is my brother sitting in jail? My brother is sitting in jail. He's been offered that we can, if you keep quiet, we can put you up in your house. There have been various small snippets coming along the way. My brother said, what is the value of my life? If I have to do something meaningful, this is what I want to do, is for the people of Pakistan. Otherwise, What do I do want to do for myself? He said the value of a person is if you do something you want. Greatness is not when you make billions. Greatness is not when you have big cars or whatever. He said, when you want to do something big, a big dream, it is actually to bring freedom to the people of Pakistan. And in Pakistan, the awareness in the past 2 years, it's been like we've been given an opportunity to. Uh, it's been the whole country's been educated. We all understand our situation now, whether some or the other. People tell us all the time that we now live day to day we have seen what they've done to our country and we want it back. And the younger generation, 110 million of them, yes, they want a better future. What's wrong with that? They have a right in this country. Why are they being told that you don't have a right, that the state has a right? In Pakistan, I might say something right now, and you'll have to understand why I'm saying it. That, listen, when the British left India, Indians, whether Muslims or Hindus or Sikhs, they all protested for freedom, right? Everybody is always in search of freedom, and they wanted to shed off their colonial rule. So they protested, they stood up to the change. So Pakistan, when Pakistan was made, what the laws in India and Pakistan, the whole subcontinent, at that time were not what Britain has in their own country. These laws were basically for a colony. So the same laws, whether it's the military or whether it's the police. Remember, the police and military were how you sort of controlled a colony. So the I even I have after a whole lifetime realized when I speak to the police and they say, but they protested, we are the state. I said, the state is the people of Pakistan. They said, no, we are the state. So if you touch me, it's like all the people who are charged with treason. It's like you do not threaten the state. So the state was basically the colony, the colonizers who controlled. Now the regulations and laws are actually the same. So these few institutions are basically under pressure, and I'm telling you, they're going to fall. They have already collapsed. The police voted for Imran Khan. 60-70% of the military voted for Imran Khan. So why would they want? Everybody wants a change. So the change is we are in the process of change. What you say about my sons being arrested, well, maybe this is the little contribution that we can make, that we will stand strong. We do not fear what they bring to us because we stand with our brother, because he's standing for such a big cause. It's a very big thing. And we are very small in a very big canvas of
Do you
change. So,
expect do you expect to also be arrested considering there's an arrest warrant?
well, with two of my sons in jail, I don't understand why. Like, if I was their PR advisor, I wouldn't tell them to arrest the whole family. We are not in politics, first of all. We've only gone out to stand for our brother and for his freedom because he's illegally in jail. He's being tortured in jail. And if we raise our voice for it, how is that wrong? Like, what? We haven't even understood. Have we broken a law? I mean, I know we've never broken any laws during our lifetime. Why would we do it now? Standing up and speaking up for for human rights. There are women being. You know what they did yesterday? Little children and a family came out on the street and they were distributing sweets in celebration of Imran Khan getting a bail. They picked up the whole family and took them to police station, including 4 and 6-year-old children. They were in a police station. 4-year-old children, women being abused, 100,000 houses that have been invaded. You think that has created fear? No, it has created a determination amongst people we enough is enough and we want to change. And people of Pakistan are very smart, very hardworking people. And there is no fear. I mean, of course, there's fear. I mean, there's a gun in your face, but gradually there's a limit. Even in psychology, there's a limit to how long you can be fearful. You ask us, what are we feeling? Basically, no fear. And I was asking them, my sons were taken away. And I started feeling very strange. I said, what will people think? I'm not feeling, it's like brother in jail, nephew in jail, two more sons in jail.
You're just
Like,
become numb to it all.
I don't know. I mean, I'm actually analyzing that some people started looking so sad, and I was laughing and saying, my eldest son, that's a surprise. And then I said, I'm not laughing because of that. I'm proud of my children. Children are, my sons are strong boys. My nephew, strong boy. I'm proud of them. We are proud of our children participating and being part of this change. If this is how it's going to be, it's fine. Because if we are going to be the symbols of giving people hope that if we are not scared, uh, neither should you. And we will, if people are moving towards it, and these are illegal cases. What can I explain about these cases? Like, what? There is no law. It's completely collapsed. It's Pakistan is what these people have done in the past 2 years. They've accelerated the process, and it's quite shocking how bad it is.
Yeah, so
But
I've covered the fall of many democracies. I actually interviewed Eduardo Bolsonaro 2 days ago. He's the son of Jair Bolsonaro, the former president of Brazil, and we see something similar in Brazil. How those in power are threatening the Supreme Court justices, threatening democracy there. And in my interview, I said to him, I said, a similar strategy was used against Donald Trump. They failed. Donald Trump is now president. In Brazil, we're still trying to find out if they're going to succeed or fail. And Imran Khan is facing um, a very similar outcome. You've got the military establishment essentially just destroying democracy and centralizing power. Um, and it's just heartbreaking to see, though, how far they've come. Pakistan has gone further than any other country I've covered, whether it's Romania and what they did there, Brazil, obviously the US. In Pakistan, have just gone so much further and arresting family members, arresting people on the streets. A lot of PTI members. And this is more, all this. This is more for the international audience. At one stage, Imran Khan's name was banned from TV. They could not mention his name on TV, from what I understand, for a period of time. The PTI logo was banned. Is that correct? During the elections, his
no,
party's
before the
logo.
election, no, they banned they basically took away the symbol before the preparation before the election. That's what. I imagine the Imagine how smart our people. I'm very proud of Pakistanis. First, they took away. They disqualified him. Then they took away his party symbol, where illiteracy rates are high. It's very high. It's very important to have a symbol, which is his flag. They took it away that. Then they started arresting all his candidates. Anybody who wanted to stand on his ticket, they abducted him. There was no campaigning. Understand, there was absolutely no campaigning in especially Punjab, the province we are sitting in. None. Now, and they gave every candidate a symbol, a cat or a dog or I don't know, a cow or vegetables, a wheelchair. There were about hundreds of symbols. Do you know that? And then they shut down the internet on the day of election. There was no internet. And if you were a family which was supposed to vote in a neighborhood polling station, a few days before that, and smart, I mean, our people are very smart with the managing data. They threw three of the families 3 hours away in a polling station. So no internet. They and people basically, this was a silent revolution. You will, if you ever study, anybody studies that election, was incredible. They, poor people in the villages, they put in all that effort to remember the symbol, Women had made symbols on their hands that this is the symbol I have to go. They had no idea who the candidate was. They voted for symbols. They voted because they believed Imran Khan was their voice. And I'm not doing an election campaign. I genuinely, sincerely believe that Pakistani people made us proud that they stood up for themselves. In spite now they stole the election the next day. Now you've got a government sitting here who is illegitimate. They are known corrupt. The military, my brother says, when he was the prime minister, the very same intelligence agencies told him how corrupt they were. They are the ones who showed him these two political parties' files. At the moment, the declared corrupt people are right now, with no vote bank, are sitting running this government. You know why? Because they have no support from the people. So they have no commitment to the people. And corruption, of course, it's a corruptions galore. They are going after your minerals. They are going after selling your airports. They are making deals. That's what we are hearing, that they're making deals on selling your railway. They're selling your airports. They are, you don't call that investment. Investment is when people come and invest in your country and produce something. Investment is not when you sell your assets. You're selling your jewels. So maybe they'll sell their jewels and run out of the country. And one of the biggest problems is that all our corrupt people, many of them land up in London and are welcomed with all their plundered money. If there was no one allowed to, if the developed countries, some of our leading democracies, and I think I do remember Bill Clinton bringing this up. I remember in a Clinton Foundation speech, he said that, and I was very happy to hear him say that. He said, we need to stop taking in the corrupt people and their money. And that would most probably half the corruption that happens in our country. So we are going through a change. And the problem, as I said, is still Imran Khan because he's the voice of the people. And they don't know what to do with him. And picking up my sons, I don't know, maybe they're panicking. Maybe they are panicking. Maybe they are frustrated. They have no idea what to do now because they don't know what to do with him. He's had three murder attempts on him, assassination attempts. One in which he had three bullet wounds and two shrapnels in his legs, and he survived that. He's had a incident where there were snipers on the judicial complex where he went in for his bail hearing in Islamabad. Another was when his helicopter nearly crashed. So he's had it, and he believes and he has strong faith in Allah. He is an inspiration. Not I'm not saying that because when I say it, it sounds very biased because I'm his sister.
He's
But he is an
it's
inspiration.
hard. It's hard. Look, I read during the interview with his sons Sulaiman and Qasim Khan, which, by the way, so we did the first time they spoke public. We did that interview. It was an incredible interview. Incredible two boys or men now. Um, Before I read the condition of their father and see how he is today, are they coming to Pakistan? I've heard reports that they're trying to come into Pakistan. They're not able to get a visa. Is there any updates on that? Because I
You
worry
know,
for them if they go to the country.
shall I tell you that we went to we this is a few months ago, so we went to see him, and we told him, I said, you would be so proud of your sons. They have, when they spoke on your interview and we heard him, I mean, I was actually very emotional when I heard them. They're such amazing boys. I said,
Very
you'd be
nice.
so proud of your sons when they spoke on TV. And I said, a lot of things. You see, my brother has not just especially with his sons, but with us also. He will always be giving some guideline to us. Like, if he's read something or whatever, and it's not small things. He talks about uh, uh, philosophy of life or guidelines on how you should have a bigger goal in life and never worry about little things. He's very um, he's a guide. He's a mentor. And I said, you'd be so proud of your sons when we heard them on your interview that they Whatever you've taught them, they know. And they when we heard the things that you tell them, my brother was so happy. He was, you're in jail. You haven't spoken to your children for months. All he ever asked for, let me tell you, when there's a court case in jail, because they set up a court over there, every time to watch my brother stand there, this man with so much dignity and so much, you know, ask anyone who goes in there, the lawyers, they are in awe of him, the policeman. This man has never, they said this is one, the lawyers says in all my life of doing criminal cases, this is the first time, he says, Imran Khan has never asked me, when are you going to take me out of prison? He says, people, very strong people give up and say, when are you going to take me? He said, never asked. One, he has never complained. Every policeman tells you that. Everybody. It's like, he says he never complains. He's so kind to the policeman. They're all in awe of him because he's such a large figure. But we watch our brother go up to the judge and only ask for one thing. He's asking the judge, please, they are not letting me speak to my sons for months. He really wants to speak to them. And I mean, one day I told him, I said, can you please stop going to the judge and telling him that? Every time you're telling him that I don't get my books and I can't speak to my sons. I mean, you're inviting them to do exactly that, to torture you. And they've done exactly that to him. And he was so emotional about that interview. I told him some of the things the boys had talked about. He was emotional, and we seldom see. It's a private thing, but I just really want you to know that the boys, we are all very proud of him. They wanted to come to Pakistan. They've applied for a visa. In Pakistan, it created a panic. The minister in the government goes on television and says, if the boys come in Pakistan, they and if they break a law, what law? Like what laws have we broken? We'll arrest them. I mean, they threatened him. The boys just want to come and visit their father because it's a time when there are protests also happening. And I said, if you don't allow us to meet our brother, we will protest for it. We are protesting. We protest every Tuesday. And if you don't allow the boys to meet, we'll protest also. Our family will protest. They panicked to an extent that they said, one of our friends called up the ambassador in the High Commission, and he said, I have to ask the Ministry of Interior in Pakistan. So I tweeted about it. I said, well, our friend has asked the High Commissioner, and he said, I have to check with the Ministry of Interior. That's what I was told. There was a news on television saying, this is incorrect. Ministry of Interior has nothing to do with granting them a visa, and they have to go to the High Commissioner and to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now the boys, Shah Suleiman and Qasim, have applied in the Pakistan High Commission for their visas. There is no news. You can get a visa from the embassy in 1 hour. And they've applied on their British passport because then they get consular service. Because of the threats we were getting, it was better
That's
that
why. That's why they're worried. I was thinking that's why they're worried. They're coming under a British passport, and that could cause a big issue for them, potentially an international issue.
But what do you expect? They're threatening them here.
Oh, they should come under their British. I'm worried if they go to Pakistan. I'm worried what will happen to them. I'm not sure about all your sisters. What happened to you? Your nephew, your two sons, your nephew, been charged and is in jail right now for 10 years. I worry for them, but I also know that if they go to Pakistan, the government is in trouble because you got two British citizens, sons of Imran Khan, in the country. They haven't done anything wrong. They can't blame May 9th on them. They literally have done nothing wrong whatsoever. I think it'll be a very tricky thing for the military, for the government.
Well, I don't think I mean, there's a limit to how foolish you can be, and they won't do that. But if but then they were not giving them a visa on the British passport. They have a Pakistani ID card, but they needed to be reissued. So some of our friends here told us, he said, they apply for the NICOP renewal. Basically, they've lost it, so they need another card. He said, you know what's going to happen? They're going to say the card left by road to get to Britain. So it might take, say, 6 to 8 months to get here. So they won't get their cards. So, but it's like a bit of a comedy that they're not allowing, they're not. Uh, so I told the boys they're going to
Halima,
go to
we
the embassy.
we we passed the comedy stage 2 years ago when they banned Imran Khan's name on TV and they removed the logo before the elections. The
It's
comedy
still
was
banned.
already like it's been comedic for a while, and it's still banned now.
Yeah, yes, of course. I mean, basically, if you speak about him, you carry his picture. Um,
That's
you can get
illegal.
arrested. Of course, no, you'll get arrested. Yes, you can't. You like they shouted a few slogans on the streets. They got arrested. You get arrested if you. They're paranoid about
It's
Imran Khan.
so sad.
I
This
mean,
is
and
so sad.
you see, but the problem is that you do not do it out of strength, you do it out of fear. This is fear. So it's
Yes,
not when when you're trying to scare people, basically you yourself are scared. It's not, it's just basic psychology.
yeah.
They're so scared. I mean, to pick up both my sons is really uh, public relationing stupidity. Like you pick up one son, but the next day you abduct my other son. Like, I would not advise them to do that because that was stupid. But that is reflective of there's some situation in their own government where it's cracking up. There's a crack appearing somewhere.
And do you think there's something internal? There's some sort of struggle internally that's going on.
Something is happening that why would you start abducting? I've got arrest warrants. Like, you can't close his voice. He's in everybody's hearts. This country is not owning him because it's a cult. Pakistan is not in a cult stage. They believe he has to unify us and he's our voice. They trust him and they love him. So they've heard him. They've heard him. A man who sits in this little cell for 2 years for no other reason, and they know that he's sitting there for them. This is everything people say on the streets. We know he's sitting there for us because there's no reason. They know it's public knowledge that he's been offered several times leave the country or keep quiet for 6 months. Let the system run. He's saying what his demands are. His demands are rule of law, free and fair elections, and human rights. Unless you don't have rule of law, you can't have human rights. It's very basic. And one day he said to us, you know what? It's interesting. He's a visionary man. He said, I said, you know what's happening outside. Look what's happening to our judges. He says, let me tell you, unless the system is collapsing, it's collapsed, but it has to collapse to the ground to rebuild it. That's when people are ready to rebuild something. Our government, in the meantime, is debating on having a presidential system. So our dictator can become the president. And then somebody said they might ban all political activity. Now, this is a script from 60 years ago. It's not going to survive in current environment with our young generation. So they are pushing the country, young people especially, who see their future uh, being, it's already, how many people have left the country in the past 2 years? At least 2.5 million people have left the
Oh
country.
wow,
Educated
wow.
people. This is not boat people running from a war. This is your doctors, your teachers, your educated youth, IT specialists. This is a brain leaving the country because they don't see a future in Pakistan. And this is it's a economically we are already being hit hard because of no investment coming in. So it's a combination. We are going through the situation. As I said, my brother's and his wife also in jail is
Yes.
isolated. She's also isolated. And yesterday, on Tuesday, when they met, when the lawyer went in and he met both of them, he said they had met after 3 weeks also. They had met between, although they're allowed to meet twice a week, they're not allowed to do that. But Imran Khan is standing strong, and we have to stand stronger than him. He's our inspiration, and we have to.
What is this, Alim? What is the situation with your nephew, your sister's son, Hassan Khan Niazi, as well as your two sons right now? Have you spoken to any of them? I know obviously your nephew's in jail. Your two sons were arrested in the last 24 hours. Have you heard anything about them yet?
Mm, my sister's son, once they were convicted in this closed military, they were sort of sentenced to 10 years.
It's yeah, it's rigorous. Also, it's also Alima in Pakistan. You have something called rigorous imprisonment. Yeah, which is it's not normal imprisonment. He's got to go through hard labor, stricter conditions, a lot of physical labor, demanding physical labor, restrictive privileges as well. It was crazy for me to see all those um,
But
additional suffering.
my nephew, when these political prisoners, some of them have come from very humble backgrounds, so which also caused a lot of economic hardship for their family. So when you're a bread earner for a family, imagine their hardships. And my sister, their friends, they're always helping the other prisoners out. And my nephew, while he was in military jail also, he was when he would meet my sister and his sibling, he would always say, can I order something for that person's family? So they all got into the social welfare system of, we all are helping out the families of a lot of those people in jail because of their financial situation, because they're bread earners in jail. But when they were in the military prison, uh, you can understand when they were shifted to the regular prison after their conviction, they actually celebrated as if they were they as if they were free from like they were celebrating their freedom coming into the regular prison. So they get to sit with each other and they meet. But remember, it's still a prison. It is still a prison, and their crime is a tragedy. What they are incarcerated for. Somehow or the other, all of us don't feel that my brother's going to be in there for 14 years or my nephew's going to be there for 10 years. You know why? Because we are not going to let it happen. We are going to fight for their freedom. You understand when we say we'll fight for their freedom, and it for what eventually whatever it takes, we are going to fight for it. It's wrong. We are not fighting. This is not anarchy or this is not anti-state. This is wrong. This is illegal. They're illegally in prison. The system is committing a crime, not the people of Pakistan. And we all understand that. And it's not about fear. We are giving the judicial system a chance, or we'll sit on the roads. We'll go to prison. We're ready for it, but we will fight for our freedom.
One last question about your brother Imran Khan. 3 days ago, he said, "I'm completely isolated. My family is not allowed to meet me. No one is allowed to speak to me. I'm not being given my books, newspapers, or access to TV, as you said. I am not allowed to meet my lawyers. It's a complete violation of my human rights." How is he coping? I remember asking his sons a few months ago how he's coping, and because there were reports about his health not being too well, and they were worried for that. But they said he's remaining pretty strong, especially mentally strong. They're trying to break him mentally, according to his sons.
Yes.
How is he today? Is it time to get to him now that they're targeting? I don't know if they're targeting his other sisters, but obviously they're targeting you and his nephews.
My brother, I will say that again. I will I have to repeat it because he's such an inspiration. I mean, if you see how he inspires the lawyer that went in, he says he joked about this, he asked about that. I mean, he's detailed when he asks a question. Like People are in awe of how uh, it's, it's just his whole demeanor. He's strong. He's, you know, you put him in a challenge and he takes it as a challenge. You're testing his mind. So what his frustration right now was that he has a stack of books that he's read about the third time, and he says, I need my books because I've now read some of these books about four times, and I need books. You're in a prison. But his connect, what they've done is they've blocked his connectivity to his party. That's what they're basically blocking. They don't want him to be connected to his party people. They don't want any information going in. And as I said, they are panicked that they have
Mm.
gone to such an extent to block him. You understand?
Agree.
This,
Agree.
I mean, I feel it's not that we are winning. It's not about, it's us and them, right? Us and them meaning the people. And then a collapsing system. So it's just collapsing. And collapsing is not a bad word. Remember, collapsing, it's called disruption. Disruptions are important sometimes to break status quo. We don't know where it's going to go, but we are watching history in the making. And the inspiration for all of us, for Pakistan, right now is Imran Khan. And that's why he's so important, not just for us as a family, but for the future of Pakistan. And that's why we will stand with him and we will stay with them. People who are coming out of prison, they were jailed for 1 month, or some have jailed for 3 weeks. Next day, they joined us for a protest outside. And I said, why are you joining us? Didn't you just come out of prison? They said, they can put us back in prison. We will come right back over here. So they are not breaking spirits, they are making spirits. Pakistan, these are getting stronger after going through these trials and tribulations.
Ms. Salima, last question I have for you is, they're still arresting the family, they're still arresting any opponents, anyone they see as a threat. What can the world do? What can the international community do to help your cause, to help Imran Khan's cause and his family's cause?
Don't they know what's happening in countries like ours? Like, it's happening in other countries as well. So there's no expectation from international community, but it does hurt when you see a dictator being supported, when you know it's tyranny, you know when he's terrorizing his own people. He should not be acceptable. Of a government, a legitimate government should not be, knowing that they are sitting here with a completely stolen vote and continue to, the human rights abuses in Pakistan are not something that uh, nobody knows. I mean, there's millions of footages about what's happening here. So, shouldn't democratic countries with, developed democracies, uh, it does bother uh, people. Like, we understand we have to bring the change from within, but to support dictatorship, support illegitimate governments, that shouldn't really happen in a global family. They should be. Uh, I mean, when we see, like deals happening and our resources being, uh, of course, they'll sell our resources at a cheaper rate. We should not have transactional relationships in a country where the people need support from international community. Because when we hear about our mines and minerals, that our mines and minerals are being offered to international governments, you do understand if somebody's, when you're transacting with an illegitimate government, they're going to sell it for pennies to a dollar. So who's going to be deprived? It's going to be the people of the country. So we must be fair to the people of a country, not take advantage of dictators. I mean, That's my opinion as a Pakistani.
It's just been heartbreaking to watch this from the outside. Having to, I had an interview and a discussion with Prime Minister Imran Khan about 2.5 years ago, and then later to know he's in jail for this long in solitary confinement is a very, very small cell. Not being able to see his family, not being able to read, and then having a discussion with his sons, and then later finding out their nephews today and yesterday getting arrested, and there's an arrest warrant for you as well, Imran Khan's sister, and there's many other supporters of Imran Khan getting arrested or threatened. Many had to leave the country. It is sad to see, especially in such a beautiful country as Pakistan. I really hope some sort of agreement is reached, or some sort of peaceful solution or resolution that abides by the rule of law. My fingers are crossed. I admire your courage. I hope your sons um, don't spend too much time in jail, if any. And I know Sher Shah personally. I've chatted to him, an incredibly nice boy, and I'm sure his brother is just as nice. Just like Imran Khan's sons were incredible boys and men, your sons have been incredible as well in my limited communication. So, hopefully things go well, and I hope you don't end up. To be honest, I'm really worried for you as well, Alima. Really worried for you.
What we've seen over 2 years, it's do we have a choice? We have a choice. We can either sit at home and do nothing, or we stand up for what's right. So it's not a choice. Uh, you have to stand up. Otherwise, what else there to do? Somebody says, "Are you very brave?" I said, "No." What else are we supposed to do? We are supposed to do this. If we don't stand up for our brother, for our children, for our future, what else are we going to do? Are we going to hide away? I mean, is that is that acceptable? Can we live with that? No. So it's not a choice; it's a duty. And but thank you for having me on your program. And although today was a little tough because we've got a house full, but I said
Uh, Thank you for making the
I
time.
appreciate you having me on your show.
Hopefully, I'll be able to have your brother on the show again. Hopefully.
Inshallah.
Thank
Inshallah.
you so much, Miss Alima. Thank you so much, and,
Thank you
and
so much
all
for
the
your
best.